Not all of them, but it has quite a few. It has quite a few. Hey guys, welcome back. So I got a video for y'all today all about this palette right here. This is the BH Cosmetics Aurora Lights palette. So fun and happy and pretty. So we're going to talk about the pricing, we'll look at the packaging, we'll look at some swatches. I will show you this palette side by side with the other palettes that are in this line from BH Cosmetics, and you can kind of see the collection of colors you get in here versus those. I will talk about the formula of these shadows and just how they are to work with, and then my overall thoughts and opinions on this palette, and then I'll also show you how I did this look right here, this fun, bright, pinky sort of look. I think it's a lot of fun. It just makes me smile. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So let's get to it. So pricing and packaging. The price of this palette will vary based on what kind of sales BH Cosmetics has going on at the time, but retail price it's $18. This is what the outside sleeve looks like. This just instantly sucked me in. Everything about this palette, the whole presentation of it is just happy and fun and bright. So even the packaging sucked me in. This is what the actual palette looks like. It's the same sort of size as the other ones in this line, so same scenario there. So it's that cardboard sort of packaging, but still functional and I think fine for the price. I think it's really pretty to look at. You open it up, you do get a mirror in here, which is nice, and the inside of the palette is really pretty and fun too. There's like a background sort of a design. And what you get in here, you get 18 different shades, but this is just an overall bright, neon, colorful palette. There are some jewel tones in here down along the bottom, so there are some other things happening in here, but overall this is a shimmery, neon, colorful, bright, happy palette. So you absolutely have to like colorful shades to like this palette because that's what's happening here. And you really have to like baked shadows because these are all baked shadows, which are a different sort of experience to work with, which I think they're a lot of fun, and I love baked shadows, but those are the scenarios. You have to like those sort of things to like this palette because that's what's going on in here. So just a happy, fun collection of colors that just makes me smile. Started to work on my swatches and realized I hadn't shown you the different palettes side by side. So first off is Galaxy Chic on the top versus the Aurora Lights on the bottom. So Galaxy Chic was first in the line, and these two are definitely, I would say, the closest, but Galaxy Chic has a lot more neutral shades in there, and Aurora Lights is a lot more shimmery. This one is definitely very bright and fun and colorful. I mean, it does have those neutrals in there, but it's a bright, fun, colorful palette. It has some of those sorts of shades in there, but they're more on the metallic-y side, whereas Aurora Lights are more on the shimmery side. Not all of them, but it has quite a few shimmery shades in there. So there are those two side by side. And then Supernova came next. So that one is on the top versus the Aurora Lights on the bottom. So this one is definitely very different. It's overall a jewel toned, darker sort of a palette, almost kind of like a nighttime dramatic sort of a palette. So these two are definitely different. And then Solar Flare. So Solar Flare is an overall really warm toned palette. So these are also very different. While there are some kind of pinky burgundy shades in the Aurora Lights palette, there's just a ton more golden, coppery, orangey sort of shades in the Solar Flare palette. And again, the Aurora Lights has more of those shimmery sort of shades in there versus a lot of metallics like in the Solar Flare. There are some metallics in this one, but you also get those shimmery shades and that are also different colors. Okay, now for some swatches. So what I did is I swatched all of them with my finger, and then I went back in with a wet brush and added a little bit more so that you can see what they look like both dry and also wet with some kind of a setting spray or mixing medium. Okay, so starting on the top row of the palette, this one is Kaleidoscope, this is Prismatic, Gleaming, Sparkling, Polar, Ombre, so there are those. Next row of the palette, this is Shining, Luminous, Flashing, Phenomenon, 24K, Glowing. There is that row. And then bottom row, this is Magical, Fluorescent, Vibrant, Borealis, Magnetic, and Australia. that what that is? Australis. I don't know. You can see down here, most all of these become more intense with some kind of a mixing medium, but some of them, it's kind of a more slight difference, and then some of them it's more intensely different. Like this one is very different when you use it wet, but it's really, really pretty dry because I did use these two in my eye look today. So all just such beautiful shades. So as far as the formula goes on these shadows, just how they are to work with, and then my overall thoughts and opinions on this palette, you know, these are baked shadows. So if you have worked with BH Cosmetics baked shadows before, or baked shadows in general, I don't think you'll be surprised by how these are to work with. But if you are new to baked shadows, they are a different sort of an experience. They are a more loose, I wouldn't say powdery, but just a loosely packed, softer sort of a formula. In soft saying they really have to be built up, but also if you use them with a mixing medium, they're like pretty much instant super pigmentation. So you kind of have to like work with them in a different way. I personally love BH Cosmetics baked shadows. I love playing with them. They're some of my favorite palettes if I'm just wanting to play with makeup and feel creative that day and just have fun. They are some that I reach for. I love all these palettes. They're just so, so fun. But again, they're not going to be those palettes that you take out and just, you know, run them across your lid and be done with it. It's kind of more of a creative experience working with them. So it's going to be personal preference, what you think about baked shadows, how you're going to feel about these. For me personally, I love working with them. I like using mixing mediums. I like using setting sprays because I think it's just fun and creative. So for me, I love the formula on these, and I think that they are great baked shadows. So my overall review on this palette is that I absolutely love it. I think it's so fun and bright and beautiful. You know, when it first came in the mail and I was swatching it, I wasn't sure that I was gonna love it so much. Like, I thought it was pretty, but I fell in love with it once I put it on my eyes. And I think that's really the case with all these palettes, is that once you play with them is really where they come alive, and that they're just so much fun. So I love this palette. I love the collection of colors in here. I think it's beautiful on the eyes. I would definitely recommend this palette. Which one is my favorite? I don't know. That's how I felt when I reviewed the Solar Flare palette, because I just love these palettes. I would say Supernova is not my favorite just because it's that darker color scheme and I just don't reach for it as much. But I mean, I love my Solar Flare for warm toned looks. I get a lot of use out of that one. I love the Galaxy Chic because it's bright and fun and colorful. It's just a great palette. I think these will make great companion palettes because there's some great metallic-y shades in this one that you could then top with some of those shimmery shades in this one. So I love them all. I think they're amazing, and I'm so excited to have this one now. This will be my go-to for bright, fun, colorful looks. It's an awesome palette. Okay, so I've already applied some eyeshadow primer and set that. So I really want to try to stick with just using this palette. So this may end up being a really bright, crazy look, but it'll be fun. So I'm gonna get some of Magical on a crease brush. This is a Cozette D220 brush. This is one of the less shimmery shades in the palette. It's kind of more of a metallic-y, but soft metallic-y sort of a shade. So I think it's gonna work in the crease. Very pretty, and that blended really well. Now I'm gonna get some of Fluorescent on that same brush, kind of right on the tip of it, and apply that kind of in the same spot, but just a little bit lower, not going up quite as high. Now I'm gonna get some of Vibrant on a flat concealer brush, and I'm going to wet my brush, spray it with a little bit of setting spray, put this all over my lids. Just doing a little bit of blending real quick just to make sure those colors are coming together nicely. That is a really fun, happy color. I like that a lot. So now I'm gonna get some of Prismatic on a tiny brush. This is a Real Techniques detailer brush. I'm gonna tap off my brush, and I'm gonna spray it, and I'm gonna put this in the middle of my lids. And now I'm going to get a little bit of Kaleidoscope on that same brush. I just wiped it off. And which side did I just put that on? This side. Okay. And then I'm going to spray my brush again. And I'm going to put this again in the center of my lids, but trying to concentrate it right in the center. The other one I blended out a little bit more. This one I'm really trying to keep it right in that center for that little pop. Now I'm going to smudge some black liner on my upper lash line and apply some mascara. I'm going to use my Laura Geller Eye Care Waterproof Eyeliner in black and my BH Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. Then for my lower lash line, I'm going to get some of Gleaming on a BH Cosmetics number 10 brush. You can probably see I'm kind of like twirling my brush across the top of it. And then I'm going to spray my brush. I've liked doing that with my lower lash line just because it, I don't know, applies it better. And then I'm just going to run this along my lower lash line. Okay, now I'm going to clean up my lower lash line and apply some mascara, and I'll be right back. Okay, and then last step, I'm going to get a little bit of ombre, just for a little bit more duochrome fun, and apply that. I don't even know if I said I'm going to apply that, but that's what I meant to say. I'm going to apply that into the inner corners of my eyes. So this is more on the blue side, but I think it's just fun. It's like having that little, that's using it dry. What? So pretty. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. And I think to tie this into the look a little bit, I'm gonna bring this just a little bit on the inner corner as well. Just right in here. So it's not that stark color just right there, but it kind of pulls over a little bit into the eye look. Alright guys, so that wraps up this video. So I hope that you really enjoyed it and I hope it was helpful for you. Please hit a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Let me know down below what you think about this palette, if you've tried it out or if you've looked up swatches or been thinking about it. What are your thoughts and opinions on it? Ask me any questions that you have. I'm happy to answer those. Please subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!